1 minute ago, the world you thought you lived in, the world of safe borders, American nuclear primacy, and the illusion of invincibility, ceased to exist. While you were going about your day, while the mainstream media was busy feeding you curated distractions about celebrity trials and partisan bickering, a threshold was crossed in the Iranian desert that has sent the Pentagon into a blind, screaming panic. They are scrubbing the satellite feeds as we speak. They are suppressing the seismic data. You won't find this on the evening news. You won't hear the raw truth from the mouthpieces at the State Department. They are terrified of what this means for the stability of the global system. But I've spent my life looking through the fog of war, and I'm telling you right now, the truth is harsher, grittier, and more dangerous than anything the elites in Washington are prepared to admit. In my time in military intelligence, having analyzed theater level conflicts for decades and walked the ground in the Middle East as a weapons inspector, I've learned to recognize the difference between a test and a declaration of war. What I am seeing from my sources tonight, the raw telemetry, the gravitational anomalies, and the frantic encrypted chatter coming out of the National Military Command Center, points to a catastrophic failure of Western deterrence. Iran didn't just test a missile, they just successfully deployed a 14-ton bunker-busting monster bomb. This isn't just a bigger explosive, it's a physics-defying kinetic penetrator that has effectively rendered the most secure facilities in the Western world obsolete. You need to see this right now, because the question isn't just what did they fire. The question that is currently making the Joint Chiefs of Staff sweat through their uniforms is, where in the United States were they targeting? Stay with me, because the most shocking part of this is coming in just a moment. I will reveal the exact location, the specific deep underground command center on American soil that the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps just proved they can vaporize with a single strike. I will reveal the smoking gun that the Pentagon is hiding by the end of this video. But first, you have to understand the technical specificity of this 14-ton beast. We are talking about a payload that dwarfs the American GBU-57 massive ordnance penetrator. In military intelligence, we analyze the kinetic energy yield at terminal velocity. This weapon doesn't just hit a target, it uses its massive weight and a Mach 15 re-entry speed to burrow through 200 feet of reinforced concrete and granite before the primary charge even detonates. Picture the scene right now at the Semnan launch site. The sky isn't dark, it's a bruised, violent orange from the afterglow of a massive solid fuel booster. There is a persistent, bone-shaking roar that can be felt in the bedrock for miles. The air is thick with the acrid, metallic smell of cordite and the sharp ozone tang of high-energy ignition. Flickering communication lines are sparking across the region as the sheer electromagnetic interference from the launch scrambles local civilian networks. This was Wave 55 of a new, undeclared doctrine. This wasn't a symbolic launch, this was a direct signal to the deep state bunkers in the United States. I am seeing reports of streaks of light, Mach 12, Mach 15 signatures, that the Aegis and Patriot systems didn't even attempt to track because their algorithms are not programmed to recognize a projectile of this mass moving at these speeds. As we move from the tactical to the regional, the stakes are being raised to a level that should make every American's blood run cold. This isn't just about a bomb, it's about the total collapse of the security umbrella that has protected American interests since 1945. Every 15 minutes, the scope of the crisis widens. I want you to imagine the global economy as a human body and the petrodollar as its lifeblood. For 80 years, that blood has flowed because the US military could guarantee that no one could touch our strategic command and control. But tonight, that guarantee has been revealed as a hollow shell. My sources are indicating that the IRGC has not only tested this 14-ton weapon, but has successfully integrated it with a new satellite guidance system that uses synthetic aperture radar to lock onto underground seismic signatures. What does that mean for you at your kitchen table? It means the world of $3 gas is a memory you'll tell your grandkids about with a sense of loss. It means $10, $12, even $15 gas at the pump within weeks as the risk premium on global energy goes into orbit. It means the supply chains that bring food to your grocery stores simply snap. The just-in-time delivery system is a house of cards, and Iran just used a 14-ton sledgehammer to smash the table. We are looking at a global economic collapse that makes 2008 look like a walk in the park. And why? Because the elites in the State Department thought they could keep playing a 20th century game of containment against a power that has moved into the 21st century era of total penetration. Having analyzed the psychological state of decision makers in the Pentagon for years, I can tell you they are in a state of sheer, unadulterated panic. There is a profound disconnect between the woke, bureaucratic leadership at the top, people who are more concerned with optics and social engineering, and the colonels and majors on the ground who see the reality on the ground. The leadership is still talking about signaling and diplomatic off-ramps. The guys on the ground are looking at the radar screens and seeing that our most secure bunkers, the ones meant to keep the government running during a nuclear war, are now soft targets. The 14-ton bomb changed the physics of the theater. You can't hide a 100,000-ton aircraft carrier, and you can't hide a bunker buried under a mountain when the enemy has a 14-ton bunker buster moving at Mach 15. I feel a profound sense of patriotic anger when I think about our troops over there. I think about the young Marines, the sailors in the bowels of the destroyers, the airmen at the forward operating bases. They are being hung out to dry by a political class that values narrative control over the lives of the men and women they send into harm's way. They are being used as tripwires in a game that has already been lost. These elites, they sit in their bunkers in Northern Virginia and their penthouses in New York, and they don't see the blood on the sand, they don't hear the sirens, they only see the stock tickers. But even those tickers are about to turn red, a deep, permanent, existential red. The value of the dollar in your bank account is directly tied to the world's belief in American military dominance. Tonight, that dominance was revealed to be a myth. Stay with me because I'm about to reveal the U.S. target that has the Pentagon in a tailspin. But first, understand the history of the specific weapons being used. The mainstream media will tell you Iran is using crude technology. That is a lie. This 14-ton weapon is the result of decades of reverse engineering captured Western tech combined with high-end Russian metallurgy. They've developed a tungsten carbide casing that can withstand the heat of Mach 15 re-entry without deforming. While we were spending $2 trillion on the F-35, a plane that can't fly in the rain without its coating peeling off, they were spending a fraction of that on a 14-ton monster that can neutralize a billion-dollar bunker in 3 seconds. It's the triumph of quantity and physics over bloated, overpriced prestige projects. The logistics of this are staggering. In my time as a weapons inspector, I've seen the sheer scale of the Iranian underground missile cities. They have thousands of these weapons pre-positioned in tunnels that are 500 feet deep. Our current inventory of bunker busters can't reach them, but their new 14-ton weapon can reach us. I want you to think about the stress response loop of the global markets. Every time Iran reveals a new capability, the cost of insuring a cargo ship in the Persian Gulf or the Red Sea triples. That cost is passed directly to you. That's why your groceries are up 30%. That's why your electricity bill is skyrocketing. And tonight, with the 14-ton bomb, the security premium just became a survival premium. Now let's talk about the unthinkable. When a conventional superpower realizes it can no longer win a conventional war because its command and control can be vaporized by a 14-ton monster, the only tool left in the toolbox is the nuclear option. This is where the world changed 1 minute ago. We are now in a use it or lose it scenario. If the Iranians can hit Mount Weather or Raven Rock, and they just proved they have the targeting packets to do it, then the American government's ability to retaliate is decapitated. This is a theater-wide checkmate. The elites in Washington are trying to figure out how to spin this as a successful intercept or a failed test, but you can't spin the fact that the seismic sensors in Colorado just registered a kinetic impact equivalent to a tactical nuclear weapon. I told you I would reveal the smoking gun, the piece of data the Pentagon is trying to bury at the bottom of the classified vaults. In the last hour, reports have emerged of a shadow lock-on. This wasn't a physical strike on the U.S. yet, but it was a digital one. During the flight of the 14-ton bomb, an Iranian satellite transmitted a targeting handshake directly to a receiver positioned near a specific site in the United States. They didn't just fire a bomb, they locked on to a target on our soil to show us they have the coordinates. This is the smoking gun. Iran has the orbital keys to the American mainland's most sensitive sites. Where in the US was it targeting? I'll give you the answer right now. The data indicates the handshake was centered on the Raven Rock Mountain Complex, otherwise known as the underground Pentagon in Pennsylvania. This is the site where the leadership is supposed to go during a catastrophic event. By locking on to Raven Rock during a 14-ton kinetic test, Iran just told the United States, "We know where you're hiding and we have the hammer to break the mountain." This is the ultimate insider pride of the IRGC. They've bypassed the Aegis shield, they've bypassed the Patriot batteries, and they've put a digital bullseye on the heart of the American continuity of government. The emotional shift in the Pentagon right now is one of utter hollow grief. They know the petrodollar era is over. They know that once the world realizes the US mainland's hardened sites are vulnerable to a 14-ton conventional penetrator, the dollar becomes just another piece of paper. The BRICS nations, Russia, China, India, are watching this with a sense of triumph. They are moving toward a gold-backed currency because they know the lead-backed currency of the US military is no longer solvent. Your savings, your equity, your future, it's all being liquidated in the orange sky of a new geopolitical reality. You feel that anxiety? That's not just news fatigue. That's your lizard brain recognizing that the people in charge have lost control of the physics of the world. They want you to stay quiet. They want you to believe that everything is under control. But I've been in those command centers. I've seen the adults in the room. They are terrified, they are incompetent, and they are currently more concerned with narrative management than with the fact that our strategic defense is a sieve. They will tell you the 14-ton bomb is a paper tiger. I'm telling you, as a man who has analyzed the reality on the ground for 40 years, that the tiger just ate the cage. The sensory drama of this moment is intense. I want you to hear the sirens in your mind. I want you to smell the cordite of a dying empire. The flickering communication lines between Washington and its regional allies are a sign that the rules-based international order is being rewritten by the 14-ton bomb. We are looking at a world where $15 gas is the new normal and where the unthinkable nuclear threshold is crossed every Tuesday. They are using the 1,000 cuts strategy, and tonight they just used a 14-ton axe to the neck. Think about the psychological state of the average American soldier right now. They are being told to stand firm in bases that can be deleted from the map by a single Khorramshahr 4 variant. It breaks my heart as a former Marine to see our brothers and sisters being used as bluff chips in a game where the opponent has already called the bluff. There is an insider pride in knowing the truth, but it's a cold, bitter pride when the truth is that your country's leadership has failed you so completely. The mainstream media is going to spend the next 24 hours telling you that diplomatic efforts are intensifying. They will show you footage of a spokesperson in a suit telling you that the situation is being monitored. Don't believe them. The reality on the ground is written in the charred remains of our deterrence. The reality is written in the frantic moves of the Federal Reserve to try and hide the collapse of the dollar. The reality is that the tables have been turned and the US is now the one reacting, the one scrambling, the one trying to figure out how to survive in a world where it is no longer the king of the hill. The 14-ton bomb wasn't just a test, it was a funeral. It was a funeral for the American century. The smoking gun at Raven Rock proves that there is no safe place left for the elites to hide. And if they aren't safe, you aren't safe. You need to get your house in order. You need to understand that the supply chain is a weapon and the gas pump is a battlefield. The world changed 1 minute ago. The elites are scrubbing the narrative, but they can't scrub the 14-ton hole in their strategy. Stay vigilant. Watch the data, not the anchors. Look for the gravity anomalies in the news. The truth is out there, but it's a truth that requires the courage to look at the world as it actually is, not as we wish it to be. The era of American dominance is over. The era of 14-ton reality has begun. Prepare your families, prepare your finances, and prepare your minds, because the monster bomb wasn't aimed at a desert. It was aimed at the heart of the system that keeps you compliant. Now that the target has been hit, the only thing left is the collapse. Get ready. The tables have been turned, and the unthinkable is now the only thing on the menu. Stay with the reality because the reality is the only thing that will survive the coming storm.